Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. Strap yourselves in because this is the definitive stats-based breakdown of both the Knicks and the Bulls. What their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, how that matches up. This is going to help you understand how the Bulls were able to beat them in overtime and also how they're going to match up in the playoffs. So this is big. I've been staring at a screen all day long and I'm very excited to present it to you. So here it goes. The Knicks offense has its highest ranking in spot-ups, which makes sense because they have quite a few guys that can knock down long-distance shots. That said, the Bulls are terrific at defending the spot-up because they will do anything to run you off that three-point line and take long, inefficient jump shots. Out of horns, Hinrich is so used to Felton cutting to the weak side corner to screen, he completely loses him as he cuts back off the high post. Boozer is useless hedging on the ball screen. Bellinelli has to rotate all the way to the midline and has no hope in getting the Shumpert in the corner. The Knicks are great at moving the ball along the perimeter once the defense is out of position from the pick and roll. Here, Nate has to help one pass away because Carlos Boozer is so completely and utterly out of position, and Felton makes them pay. The Knicks are so good at spot-ups because they have two guys that can knock down shots even when the defense plays it correctly. Watch Jimmy Butler help and recover, close out, and contest the J.R. Smith shot to no avail. With Melo posting up, it opens up a lot of opportunities for his teammates to get open shots when the double team comes. The Bulls are very good at defending this and didn't let the Knicks make one basket when the ball came back out from the post. With two players like Melo and J.R. Smith, you are going to isolate a lot, and the Knicks don't disappoint, converting at a high rate. Without players like Taj Gibson and Joakim Noah, the Bulls' isolation defense has taken a hit lately, and it's their lowest half-court ranking. Without Joakim Noah and Taj Gibson, the Bulls go from average to bad defending isolations. When Shumpert sees he has Rip Hamilton guarding him and no center to help, he takes advantage. Again, with players who can attack with the ball like Melo and JR, and throw in Kidd and Felton, the Knicks give teams serious problems with their pick and roll. With the way the Bulls defend the pick and roll with ice, they make it very tough on their opponents to get good shots. However, this is their lowest ranking in several seasons. Normally your point guard is the highest rated pick and roll ball handler on your team, but not when you have Melo. While he doesn't do it a whole lot, he is by far the league's most efficient at it, and it doesn't hurt to have Carlos Boozer defending the screener either. The Knicks have resorted to 5-out basketball. Look how far the defense is spread. Again, Boozer doesn't hedge, and Melo hits. The one issue is that the Knicks don't get offensive rebounds in this alignment. When healthy, the Knicks have a potent fast break attack. Without Kenyon Martin and Tyson Chandler to grab boards, it's been more difficult for them. Shockingly, the Bulls have been terrible defending in transition this year, giving up a dangerously high field goal percentage. One reason the Knicks are so effective in transition is that J.R. Smith can grab defensive rebounds and take off up the court. While he can go coast to coast as well as anybody, his eyes must have lit up when he saw Rip Hamilton pick him up. Again, with Smith running the break, the Bulls should stop him by the time he gets to the top of the key. They allow him into the lane and Copeland finishes. The Bulls have had a tough time spotting up this year. And with shooters like Dang, Hinrich, and Robinson, it's easy to see why they're ranked so low. The Knicks have a serious problem with their defensive rotations, so it's no surprise they're ranked below average at defending the spot-up. The Bulls get a lot of their spot-ups by posting up. The problem is they don't have a lot of consistent shooters. Watch how Prigioni doubles one pass away and gives up a wide-open corner three. Hinrich just can't knock it down. Jimmy Butler has been a nice surprise as a spot-up shooter, ranked in the 69th percentile. Watch how Melo helps one pass away and Butler nails it. The Bulls are also good at moving the ball along the perimeter to the open man. The Knicks are ranked so poorly because their rotations are consistently off. Here, Felton should be higher and one step closer to the ball. This would make for an easy closeout on Dang, and Kidd could rotate to Hinrich in the corner. Instead, Kidd leaves Butler alone under the basket. Dang could have hit him for the layup, but is so open he hits the shot anyway. The Bulls' pick and roll ranking has been propped up by Nate Robinson, who surprised everyone by being ranked in the 81st percentile. If not for him, I would shudder to think how much more difficult it would be for this team to score. Luckily for the Bulls, they were going up against the second worst defense against it. With Carmelo Anthony involved in many pick and rolls, it's not surprising how bad they are. Nate Robinson is by far and away the best at pick and roll ball handler, and it's no surprise the Knicks are almost last in defending this play, seeing how Jason Kidd goes underneath this screen, giving Nate Dogg an uncontested 3. One of the problems with the Knicks defending the pick and roll is Melo's defense guarding the screener. He makes no attempt at a hedge, giving Nate lots of room to see the floor and pick apart the defense. Here's a very typical high post set. Screen and roll on the left side, double pin down on the right. The Knicks want to switch this, which is okay, but look at how Melo doesn't step up to hedge at all. This forces Copeland to leave his man and step up to the ball. When Smith does his job to pick up Nate on the pin down, Butler is wide open cutting to the hoop for the layup. With Carlos Boozer getting over half of all the Bulls post-ups, it's not surprising that they're extremely average at it. They'd really be better off getting more low post touches for Jimmy Butler, Luol Deng, and a healthy Taj Gibson. And the biggest surprise of all, the Knicks are actually ranked first in defending the post. Teams don't do it that often against them, but it's a rare bright spot for Melo's defense. Carlos Boozer is average in post-ups, since he has real problems with taller and longer defenders. Watch how Melo doubles one pass away, has no idea that Deng is cut to the hoop, yet Boozer literally drops the ball for a turnover. On this post-up, the Knicks again double one pass away, but Boozer misses both Butler, then Deng, open in the lane. Instead, he is flustered by the long arms of Copeland and Kidd's double and travels. Turning the ball over in the post is something you cannot do. The Bulls' offense has lots of movement and cuts to the basket, so I'm surprised they're ranked as low as they are in this category. Boozer does not finish well with taller players around, but Joakim Noah is really hurting the Bulls by not hitting his shots. Luckily for them, they're playing the Knicks, who with all their weak side defensive issues are terrible at defending cutters through the lane. More Knicks defensive problems off ball. Felton gets stuck too close to Bellinelli, who expertly cuts behind him for the layup. Bellinelli is terrific at the cut, just doesn't get many chances to do it. On this simple pin down screen for Rip Hamilton, two Knick defenders jump him even though Novak was in position. That leaves Boozer wide open. He should really finish this. Jimmy Butler has been really good at posting up, mainly because he faces up and can see the floor. Jason Kidd shows us how old men need naps during the day as Nate cuts for the layup. Now let's just look at the last few minutes of the game because the Bulls had control of the game. They fought back, they had it, they should have won in regulation, but there was a fundamental breakdown in their execution. So I'm going to show you those plays and how the Knicks were able to get back in this game. The Bulls want the clock moving, yet allow the Knicks to save time by rolling the ball up the court. On this high post split, Deng is supposed to switch with Nate, but Nate completely screws this up by not jumping over to J.R. Smith, who hits the quick 3. This possession only took 6 seconds. The Bulls only need a couple of scores down the stretch to win this game, so they run the same pick and roll with double down screen we saw earlier. Nate completely misses Luol Deng with no one guarding him in the corner, then compounds the issue by getting a screen and roll and not blowing by Melo, settling for the one shot you don't need. This time, Deng and Nate successfully switch on this high post split. They even make the Knicks take a lot of time off the clock. However, because of that switch, Nate is mismatched on JR and Deng on Felton. Deng falls asleep on the weak side and JR makes a great pass and Felton hits a tough shot. Same play again, they cover this well, but again, a mismatch in the post with JR going to work on the diminutive Nate Robinson. Shockingly, the Bulls don't run to double down. Boozer wisely staying home on Jason Kidd, and they give up an easy 2 to Smith in the post. The Bulls run their same pick and roll on the left side. The Knicks screw up their positioning again, only Jimmy Butler can't finish with his left hand. At this point, the Bulls need only run some clock, then get a good shot or get fouled. Instead of running a good play that got them good looks all game, they opt for a 1-4 flat ISO for Nate Robinson. This is not the kind of decision-making situation you want him in. Boozer doesn't cut to the open spot on the floor for the layup, and Nate is left to miss a shot he probably wouldn't make in Horse. Down by 2, the Knicks make a huge mistake. Melo attacks way too early, and even though he gets fouled, he's given the Bulls an opportunity to win the game at home with lots of time to do so. To win this game, the Bulls opt for a pick and roll with Melo guarding the screener. This is a good idea, but I wouldn't want Deng being the ball handler. He's been terrible at it all year and doesn't even do it that much. In a screen and roll situation where Nate won't have to pass it, just get to the hoop somehow, this is where he'd be great for the Bulls. So there you have it, sports fans. The more I watch the Knicks, the less I'm sold that they have a chance to give the Heat any kind of battle in the playoffs. They have serious issues with their defensive rotations, and it hasn't improved since November. The only way they can hide this is by shooting incredibly from three-point land. And if you want to hang your hat on that, go ahead, but I don't think it's going to help them if they have to battle the Heat. And you know what? They can get stung earlier in the playoffs by a team that can shut down their three-point shots. The Bulls, on the other hand, do not score well. So here's a little plea for all the Chicago fans. Derrick Rose, please come back and help them. They need it because no matter how good your defense is, and it is good, you still need to be able to get some easy baskets. And they don't seem to be able to get that very often, and especially without Nate Robinson in. And you don't want to rely on him, believe me. So, Derrick, please, where is this return you've been talking about on all these YouTube videos from Adidas? I want to see it. Well, thanks for joining us. A little snafu in scheduling. We're not going to do a post-game after the Miami-Chicago game on Sunday, but we will be doing a post-game show after the Lakers-Spurs later on that night with a special guest. So definitely stay tuned for that, and lots more coming up at B-Ball Breakdown, because don't forget, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?